Hey there, welcome to the REI Conversion Podcast, where each episode we discuss strategies and digital tools to help you launch, automate, and scale your real estate investing business. Learn how to run your investing business remotely, find out ways to automate your business to better utilize your time, and learn what other successful investors are implementing so you can get to the next step closer to your investing goals. And I'm your host and founder of REI Conversion, Jesse Kwong. Today's episode is just myself, and we're going to be talking all about pricing psychology, specifically for land. And I'm going to be showing you some of these tactics and the experiments that they ran and why we should go that way. But before we get to that, I just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Pebble by REI Conversion. This is a land CRM for automating and tracking your land investing all under one application. So Pebble does three major things when it comes to your land investing, and there's a lot of nuances that go with this as well, but one of the biggest ones is our automated mailing. So you can send out mailers, your direct mailing campaigns, your blind offers, your neutral letters, your whatever you want to call it, that can be all sent through Pebble. One of the beauties about this is that we can also do a drip mailing. So every day you would send out a little bit rather than doing one blast. This makes scaling your business a lot easier because now your processes are a lot more predictable. If you are sending 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 mailers all at once, I can guarantee you'll get slammed with leads the next week, and that will jank up your process. So we like to find ways to make things as predictable as possible. Next of all, generating documents, it takes seconds. That is all accessible to you inside of Pebble. And finally, our lead tracking, right? This system is all about tracking and organizing your leads and properties. So leads get attached to properties, you can move them through stages. But the beauty of things is that you can bring in leads from things like Zillow, Lands of America, LandWatch, your own REI conversion website, Craigslist. This will all come right into Pebble, and you can attach it to a property very easily, and a lot of times automatically as well, and then start doing your due diligence, start doing your negotiations, move them along the pipeline, keep everything organized so you can scale and grow without having your organized system, without having a place to track everything centralized. It becomes mayhem when you're trying to scale up or even just trying to add and take on more properties to deal with. So if you're interested in trying Pebble, go ahead and head over to Pebble, that's PEBBLE.REI.com, hit book a demo, or if you hit see pricing, it'll bring you down to the pricing chart. You can start your free 14-day trial. You can even get out your mailers. I encourage you just to use the system, even to take advantage of the mailing rates that we have. It's negotiated rates. It'll drip out. Just use that. I mean, even within your first 14 days, whether or not you decide to move forward or not. So again, that's pebblerei.com. All right, let's jump right into today's episode. Now, it's actually, as of recently, one of my coaches, Marcos Rivera, he is a pricing expert. He's coached over 100 different CEOs on pricing. He teaches pricing to MBA students at the UC of San Diego. He's a speaker, investor, and entrepreneur. He is sort of the pricing strategist. He runs a site called Pricing.io, and this is a site that he put me into or onto, which is done by Nick Kalinda, and it's all on pricing. And I know that he uses this also as a guide to help a lot of his clients on how to price for their products. And this is a great one that I wanted to share with you guys. And I think there's just so much value in here. And some of these are so easy to just apply. And it definitely can only help your land investing. People that see the 1,499 are perceiving that to be a longer price and will perceive that to actually be a higher price. So to make it seem like a lower price, remove that comma. This has been a study that has been done. I've actually heard of this before. Remove the comma in your pricing to make those your buyers perceive your pricing to be lower. All right, the next one here. Tactic number 9 here. If you're following along on the PDF, this is tactic number 9, and essentially is they analyzed 27,000 real estate transactions, and they found that people are more willing to pay for things when the pricing, especially for higher, larger prices, they're more willing to pay for things that are more precise in their pricing. So something like $350,000 versus $362,798.15. The reason being is that people associate precise numbers with a smaller number. Typically, smaller numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are pretty precise numbers. So when there's an association there when we're using a larger number, is if we put a more precise number to that, they will have an association that it is a more actually a lower price for them. So again, with our kinds of pricing, because we are dealing with larger prices, get precise with your properties. Don't just leave it at $10,000 or $12,000. Get precise. $11,987 or something along those lines. Get as precise as possible. All right, the next tactic here. Tactic number 20. I love this one. And we're actually going to be implementing some of these changes immediately as well. So I'm going to scrolling down my screen right now for those of you listening. Sort your prices from high to low. Now, the reason being with that, this is more effective if you have more than one property for sale, is because you're going to set an anchor or a reference, right? So when people come to your property site, this is only for those, especially if you're using REI Land List or you have your own listing website, make sure you're sorting by highest price first, okay? This is, again, you're anchoring the pricing. When your buyer comes onto your site, they're seeing the prices that are pretty high. Then they come into your other properties, which are lower in pricing. Then they're going to start feeling that your prices are actually a really good deal, especially the lower ones. And that's where they might bite onto. So this works very well, again, if you have more than, obviously, the more pricings or the more properties you have, the better. If you're using REI Land List, this is a really good function that we have built in already inside your properties tab. If you go to sorting, you can manually sort everything. In fact, if you don't do that, you can even use a filter, sort by highest to lowest, and you can even share that link to other people if that want to come in to look at your properties. If you always got a lot of different properties, you don't want to manually sort things out, that's what you can do. You can share a link with the pre-sorted prices as well. So make sure you're sorting from highest to lowest when you're showing your property catalog. All right, the next tip here, tip number 4 of a discount, right? You're explaining to them, why are you discounting it this time around? It's not the norm, right? It's an abnormal. They'll understand this is something abnormal, and it will reinforce that this is probably something temporary for them to take action. So if you're using REI Land List, you've got a lot of spaces in there, right? So you can put your price, a discounted price. You can even add a little price note or whatever you might want to add. That's a great spot for you to add some reasoning, whether it's Black Friday or it's last inventory discount or monthly deal or whatever, like featured property. You want to essentially explain why that property is going on sale. All right, the last one here, I really like this one. I'm just going to scroll back up here. Follow the rule of 100. So this has to do with discounting, right? When you're discounting property, you want to make sure if it's over $100 that you're discounting by dollar value, right? So if it's, let's just say if it's $1,000, for example, if it's $1,000, you want to say 200. You're showing that there is a discount going on. And again, if it's below 100, you're going to use a percentage. If you're above 100 in pricing, like especially your cash prices, this is where you want to use a dollar amount rather than a percentage. All right, I hope you guys found that helpful. Again, to review, we've got the 5 tactics I think anybody, all of you land investors out there listening, can apply immediately, at least even to your next property if you don't want to go back, but I think it's worth going back if you don't have too many. First of all, remove any commas from your marketing prices, right? Get rid of those commas, make those prices seem smaller. Number 2, be precise with your large values, right? They did this was directly related to real estate as well. 27,000 prices. They found, again, that people are more willing to purchase when the value, especially for large prices, is more exact. Number 3, give a reason for why you're discounting, right? Make use of that space inside of REI Land List. You've got several spaces there. Make use of one of those spaces beside your price to explain why you're discounting. Now, I'm going to rewind one. I missed one here. You want to sort your prices, your properties from highest to lowest. Again, you want to set that anchor of the highest price first. Then when they come to look at your other properties, they can really feel that discount value on a lot of other your properties, right? This actually is very applicable for outside of real estate as well. And then last one, discounting with the rule of 100. If your pricing is below 100, use percentage discount. This is great for seller financing or terms. If it's more than 100, like cash prices, you'll want to then use a dollar value and show that dollar value discount. All right, guys, I hope you found this helpful. This is another episode with just myself. I'd love to hear from you guys. It always means the world to myself and my team to give us kind of that oomph, that motivation to kind of continue to make these episodes here. If you have a minute out of your day, feel free to leave us a positive review on either Google Podcasts, iTunes, wherever it might be. It would mean the world to us. As well, please join us in the REI Conversion Facebook group. You can search up Land Investing Community. That's facebook.com/groups/REI Conversion. You'll find us in there. I post a lot of our resources there. We do a lot of live stream. All of this is free and accessible to you guys, so please make good use of that. All right, guys, thanks again for listening to this episode of the REI Conversion Podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode. Before you stop this podcast or head to the next episode, I want to personally thank you for listening to this episode of the REI Conversion Podcast. If you found this helpful, we'd greatly appreciate an awesome review and rating on whichever platform you're listening to this on. And if you have 2 minutes and wanted to step it up even more and help others, feel free to share this in other Facebook groups or pages or any communities, giving others a heads up of the REI Conversion Podcast or this specific episode that may help them on their investing journey. Once again, thanks very much for listening, and catch you on our next episode.